everybody, Sam Sears again. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've did a video here. Very long. I had a lot going on this month. Actually, last few months. Had to move different places, so it took me a while to get settled down and get a good setting to start getting into video editing stuff again. Got a new computer. It's more beefier than the last laptop that I've had. And doing a few stress tests. It's worth it. Able to do things at 2K resolution, 165 frames. Minecraft can go higher than that for the monitor holding it back. And the combination of all that together with everything at full blast, I'm actually able to record higher quality videos now at higher quality at 60 frames instead of 30 with very little frame jitters. Hopefully that can guarantee more video quality for y'all in the future, should y'all maintain interest with this. So I appreciate y'all to be maintaining patience with that inconvenience I was previously dealing with before. Anyway, in between my transitions, I've done a lot to this space. A lot. I mean, a lot. Quest-wise, I've managed to make a few EV circuits, an advanced circuit assembler, as well as some HV energy hatches. So the clean room is now using HV machines instead of the NV machines. At some point, I'll probably want to make this bigger so I can slap the NV machines into here. That way I can at least have a system that can work with NV machines to its things, while the HV machines are more reserved for what they're more capable of doing. But yeah, with the span around, I did a little bit decorative changes with Niter again. I was able to fix a problem that wasn't really bringing up. I just figured I might as well show this off real quick for now, since I found a working solution to automate niter production. Thaumcraft is very finicky with its pipe logic. However, having some multiple alchemical furnaces and arcane amulets going into the alchemical construct, though, it seems to have rid the bottleneck effect that is being caused by the fact that only one essentially can go through the tubes at a time. So that, in combination with buffers, these jars will serve as temporary buffers for any excessive essentia that is being produced by the Amblix. Whether this logic is completely sound, I don't know. Out of literally lots of hours of trial and error and obsessively trying to work with this, I figured something out that works. Just by simply having everything be adjacent together and just have backup tubes as for the more benign throughput. I don't have a full grasp of how this works. I'll probably wind up going for golems, if not a Thaumcraft AE system in the future with this. In the meantime, I'm leaving this be for now because I'm just happy the way it is. I might wind up making another one of these, because another furnace and Amblix, because I periodically will use a Thaumic Restorer. That's how I've been repairing my armor and stuff like that, as well as builder's ones. The only thing I can't use that restore with is with GT tools and other tools. Now, with me having pretty much infinite gold at a fast rate being produced, I was able to just smelt the use the fluid solidifier to get all the gold stuff for just for the instrumentum aspect. Gold is a very good way of doing it for me at this point, since thanks to the glow dust processing system I have up there. So that's my quick and easy way to repair my stuff cheaply. So, previous episode I mentioned that that would be focused on base building. The walls are now higher. Whether or not the walls are high enough, well, I don't know. I'll have to see what happens with the tree when I grow the next tree. But yeah, I made these walls higher, the inner walls and all that. I've redone the inner farm. I actually redone the shape of the walls too as well. So they're actually more circular than what they previously were before. Now, I do have to confess something. I did kind of mess up the patterns with each layer, and I meant for each layer to be one-to-one with each floor, but unfortunately I got each layer short by one block. I can live with that, even though it's frustrating to me. I've already done a lot of work, we've done a bunch of things. At this point, I don't want to have to redo it another time. Furthermore, in terms of building, I've laid out some hallway pieces. Schematica was incredibly helpful with this here. Now, y'all are probably looking at the fact that the outer walls have been increased in height. Yes, I've manually done this, but not completely by hand. The diamond wands pretty much has a very large range of blocks you can place at once. Though durability was a problem, hence why I made the push for the Atomic Restorer. The Atomic Restorer was very helpful to repair the diamond wands whenever they get nearing the breaking state. Plus, at the time when I was going through diamond builder's wands, I was blowing through diamonds. I don't want to be doing that anymore. Hence why I made the push for Thaumcraft at that specific regard. So yeah, outer walls are taller too as well. They will be taller, slightly taller, because if y'all remember from the first episodes of the series, I want to have like a concave effect with the dome protruding out, the glass dome protruding out in accordance with the height of the tree. The height of the dome will be determined by the tree and whether or not I'll be adding more inner walls. It all depends. I also started laying out more hallways too as well. I could have survived that fall if I were to hit rock bottom. I got enough HP, but I still don't want to be having to absorb that much damage. But yeah, back on track to what I was talking about. I've laid down some groundwork for some halls, even made schematics. What's nice, though, and it's worked with this here, that allowed me to quickly plop down the next hallway bits for the next main hallways near the entries of this, of the terrarium structure. Schematica comes with a printer system where if you have the blocks in your inventory and the Ghost schematic already rendered at a spot, just walking around will place blocks as fast as a Minecraft player can. So it's nice to be able to just go around with place blocks down automatically without having to look at where you're doing so, saving wrist efforts. Plus two, it goes through multiple types of blocks too as well, which saves time with the which saves your fingers and time changing your mouse wheel, changing items through your mouse wheel on your hotbar. Saves your fingers, your wrist, and the fact that all that's being done with the player constantly placing blocks at the fastest speed all the time. It's pretty much the fastest way to have a automated way of hand placing blocks. Took me a little bit to figure out schematic. I did some research, but it was very useful. So yeah, I got some floors pretty much pre-planned out now. So that's a building mod that will become very handy. And I can just focus on just placing blocks now that I did enough digging out areas that matters more. Now y'all saw that I've handled some HV energy hatches. Yes. Give me a second, lag spike. Alright, lag's over with. So, that's right, I upgraded all the EDFs with turbo gas generators, stuff like that. I misunderstood the whole electric air filter system. No worries, when I hit titanium, when I get titanium from the moon, I'll be able to build the next up air filter should it be worth it. But in the meantime, all the EDFs are built up. I had to expand the oxygen nitrogen setup. With the remaining centrifuges, I decided to make a bunch of basic compressors to accommodate them, which pretty much tripled the size of the nitrogen oxygen setup. I will want to expand this further in the future, though, because something's telling me I'm going to have to be using nitrogen a lot. Just look at the fact that the HV version of the Prospector requires nitric acid, or something that involves nitrogen. I'll have to dig through the recipes again to know for sure. I did have to upgrade some item pipes though for the pyrolysis ovens. Helps release a little bit of bottleneck effect here. On the other hand, speaking of pyrolysis, when I added more to the hallways here, there's more entryways to the next pyrolysis ovens, and I added additional pyrolysis ovens. Two at each wing, so in total of 4 pyrolysis ovens. On top of the 4 pyrolysis ovens, I also decided to add some HV muffler hatches to help manage pollution a little bit better. Pollution's gone now since they're hardly being used right now, since I'm not at a high demand, not having a high demand on them right now due to the fact I'm not having to do ore processing and the EBFs. Did a lot of ore processing, hence why this barrel is incredibly polluted, which reminds me to why I'm so thankful to have moved all my primary stuff over there instead of here. So my original idea of having this be focused on EBS and power production, it's paying off. The idea was good and paying off. So if expanded on power, well, I was gone with this. Boilers are still the same. Um, gosh. I was meaning to have this episode be focused towards building, but it was a big, ambitious project to take on for one video, and the only thing I could figure to make that viable is through a time lapse. And I didn't exactly wish to have y'all be only focus on that when this is Greg Tech New Horizons. Greg Tech New Horizons is all about having all the machines and stuff, you know? I did reorganize the wall a little bit more so that way it's more sorted out more for colors. I managed to get more tin, copper, as well as zinc. I was rarely running low on gallium and arsenic ingots for a while, so I wound up getting more. I got stacks of arsenic gallium crystals, or gallium arsenic crystals now. So I got enough of those for circuits for days. That thermic restore was good for repairing obsidian chisels. it saves me the time to forage around for resources to get things processed. So, anyways, a lot of changes have occurred. Big progress has been made. Now, my question is, for you, what of the future? Well, HV is up in the air right now. I gotta think about making a rocket. So that's definitely a upcoming goal you might be seeing within the next episode or two. 'Cause I definitely will need to trek to the moon to gather all of the machines and stuff for all the ores and stuff, especially titanium. Something's telling me I'm going to be wanting to get a whole lot of moon rocks. Now, I will want I want to be able to progress through the moon with minimal amount of trips possible. I like to be able to have myself set in stone on things within one trip. That means that I will have to do a whole lot of preparations. Like, I for sure will want to have a lot of personal storage with me. So I'm talking backpacks. I'm going to keep these 3 backpacks with me, but the item that will allow me to store I don't have the option of having ender chests to automatically deposit items into things, so I'm going to have to, I might be able to build them. I'll have to check around, but for the meantime, I'm going to have to consider going and mass a bunch of compressed chests. Luckily, I've recently attained a lot of diamonds, so I can focus on investing all my diamonds into making lots of compressed chests so I can cram as much materials in there. I'll just have to make sure that I don't lose the chests and that I don't die out there. Because I definitely want a whole lot of moon rocks. I can't remember for a moment what I want to, but I might be able to process those moon rocks down. Matter of fact, well, I'll just look it up right now. What can I do with a moon rock? Give me a second. So silicon dioxide, moonstone dust, tungstate is one reason. Platinum is another reason. And it's an alright source of manganese. I'm not too worried about acquiring manganese right now, so that's very easy for me to acquire. I've got so much stainless steel, but I definitely want to have this for at least tungsten and platinum, even though it's a very low probability. It's at least one confirmed source. Now, I don't know much of the moon turf, though. I can much about moon turf, though. Okay, so moon turf is pretty much the same idea. Same deal with the moon dirt. Just grinds everything down to moonstone dust. So I see there's copper tin. I definitely want to make use of the dungeon for that. Actually, least be tempted to actually maybe use the slime sling staff on the moon just for the sake of traveling super fast, because we're also talking about reduced gravity. So that might be a good traveling utility with that. Definitely want to. Okay. Now that I've mentioned that, it leaves me to wonder if these piston boots might become a liability at the moon. Because I'm already jumping 3 blocks high with them on. I can see myself like being all way up in the air and also taking hits of fall damage. I don't think I'd want that. I'll have to experiment around with that to see how things are. So that's definitely up in the air to think about more for moon stuff. I'm also thinking too as well is that I'll want to focus on another type of power system too as well. I think about getting into oil processing, or at least producing diesel fuel, stuff like that. I do got oil fields here that I can work with here. However, I've done some experiments. Just regular oil here, these don't yield much. So those are for sure not worth my attention. However, the real McCoy is the oil sands. Yeah, oil sands ore. These here. All you gotta do is centrifuge the oil sands ore and stuff like that, and it'll give you good amounts of heavy oil. And with all that heavy oil, you can then, through a distillery and stuff like that, get all the sulfurous versions of the oil products directly from that. Like, look at that, for 100 liters of heavy oil, that's a lot of sulfuric heavy fuel and all the other fuels with this. And should I want to go through a distillery, though, which isn't very beneficial in terms of yield with this, though, I can get the sulfuric heavy fuel, which is still a lot of sulfuric heavy fuel versus what the heavy oil is giving. Like 50 liters of heavy oil for 125 liters of sulfuric heavy fuel. That's like, gosh, an 150% gain versus what the other oil was doing. Like like just oil. 15 liters for 50 from 50 liters of oil versus 50 liters to 125 liters of sulfuric heavy fuel. Oil sands the way to go for fuel. I've been on my creative test world and experimented around with that, as well as a bunch of other things. There's also another thing that I've been wanting to do too as well. I've been thinking about setting up another electrolysis wall just for sake of electrolyzing water, for sake of producing hydrogen and oxygen infinitely. Hydrogen I can easily stock up with, and right now I'm not using hydrogen a whole lot. Though hydrogen I will need for fuel processing, for mostly for cracking the fuels down. I will be making a fuel wall eventually, probably next episode or two. Definitely before I go to the moon. In regards to so that's hydrogen, but also I'm needing oxygen in abundance too as well. If I have oxygen, I can route oxygen into plastic-making and other means of chemical processing that needs it, as well as to the EBFs. One of the EBFs is using oxygen to give faster recipes, so I want to do that in conjunction of the aid for the oxygen and nitrogen production that's going on over there. I will be upgrading the machine tier of the centrifuge systems over there, just for the sake of having more throughput. I think I got the power to expand it, considering the fact I just doubled the powerless ovens. Now those 8 powerless ovens are all the powerless ovens I'm going to be making. If should I be needing more benzene, I'll just upgrade the machine power hatches to overclock the machines. Chances are I won't have to expand upon that again. But that is always open to revision, like anything here. So yeah, I'll be able to be more focused on video production now that I've got a more stable environment. And at some point, I'll probably be designing a rig that's even more powerful than this laptop to, for sure, maximize the quality of my efforts here. So I know these last few years has been a little iffy with me with how often I was producing videos, and with how things are stabilizing for me right now, I should be able to make that happen for y'all. Okay, now the walls are up. For the most part, this area is pretty much mob-proofed. Only once in 1,000 or once in 1,000,000 seconds do I have to encounter like a creeper or something like that. So it's safe to say I can just focus on cleaning up this mess here. This has been way overdue to be dealt with for a very long time, so at this point, time to make it happen. So here's a time lapse for y'all. Good thing I have enough health to absorb that blow. Yep. I kind of broke an unspoken rule of Minecraft. Never dig the block below you. So weird with this being gone. Well, where one tree falls, another shall grow. I'm going to do some spawn proofing to this tree. But this will be the next tree that will be preserved in the terrarium. I just wish that that the tree would be that the tree that's original here would be the tree to stay in here. But no, a lightning zombie early on in the series decided the fate of that tree. An unintended consequence in that zombie's desire to take me down using the heavens. Forget that leg spike for a second. Happens every now and then. I don't know how tall this tree is, but it should be manageable. I'm going to scaffold around it and just slap some niter. What I could do is I could probably put some niter inside different parts of that tree to make it really light up. I'm going to have to make a lot more arcane levitators for this. I mean, the tree's not too tall. I just gotta be smart with how I place down the dome. I suppose I can have the top glass of the dome be pretty close to the tree. That should probably do the trick, and then I can have the walls built up, the actual stone roof this be built up towards the raised up towards the outer edges. And of course, I'll probably have like little water causeways going through to make it look like that it'll be able to manage runoff, water runoff pretty well. Because realistically speaking, this were to be a real life dome and it rains, it's definitely filling it between the raised edges and this. Not that I have to worry about anything like that in Minecraft. But yeah, y'all, this tree is definitely a start to put things back as they were and to go on with plans. I'm going to have to create a cobblestone generator, process that down to sand just for sake of glass making, because I'm going to need a whole lot of glass to make the glass dome. Again, I just wish that that was still the original tree, so that way it's for sure a cough legitimately old tree. But you could say that this space is meant to be built for the new tree to stay around longer than the previous tree. Either way, this place is going to protect the sacred oak tree. Meantime, I got some digging around to do and some things to do here. I'm not going to be using this lumber axe to hollow out parts of this tree. I'm going to need a lot of arcane levitators to go way high up in there with this one. Anyways, y'all, it's been quite a journey to this point with this tree. Good progress to the base. Good infrastructure and some plans laid out for what's next to come. I definitely want to go for the moon at some point. I just gotta figure out where to set up the galactic crap stuff. So anyways, y'all, for those of y'all who have stuck around so far watching these GTNH series, do appreciate y'all sticking around, and I'm always open up to new ideas or questions, whatnot. So many thanks, and I wish y'all a good one.